Yivar ke'es benokel, Hilchos Eruvin hachamoros. Asher ad ata hayirabim nimnem mililmaid halachazo, mipnei chaymer ha'inyanim. Meseches Eruvin hi harishoina b'simoni hamashiach, u'mitzvah lasik bo, v'simona tovo.
הם אומרים שכל חלקי המשנה ברורה זה נוגע לכל בית יהודי. עירובין, או שסומכים על הרב או לא סומכים. מה הם צריכים לדעת עירובין? הם לא הולכים להיות מכשירים, לא הולכים להיות זה. זה השאלה שלהם. האם באמת צריך לעודד אברכים שידעו עירובין לבד?
התחילה בש"ס, הרב אמיר שפירא, אחד הבנים, כולם שחקו בזה. כולם שחקו בזה. היום כל תפוצות ישראל כל הדברים האלה גם אחר כך יהיו שכל תפוצות ישראל
אז נזכה גם שעירובין ידעו.
Welcome to the fourth chelik of Mishnah Brura, Hilchos Eruvin. Over the next 9 months, until Chav Daled Elul this year, the yahrzeit of the Chavetz Chaim, you will achieve a good grasp of Hilchos Eruvin.
You might ask yourselves, why do we even need to know Hilchos Eruvin? To find out, let's watch the following story.
We have arrived! After long months of waiting, the Cohen family is eager to finally enjoy the long-awaited ufruv of their son Chesky. The Cohens step into the beautiful campus. But suddenly, a surprise. Who's this? An unrelated guest.
גם אתה בצימור בשבת.
שבת חתן.
שבת חתן, השבס קפילוץ', איזה יופי.
יו יו.
יו יו. מה זה טוב? מה זה טוב? איזה יופי. חתן. כן. איזה יופי. רק אם תוכל אולי לעזור לי פה עם התיקים, באתי עם המשפחה והילדים.
Ishas Reyehu Yazeru. Together they help one another. Shabbos is quickly approaching. Preparations are at full speed. The entire family is busy with last-minute preparations and arrangements before Shabbos.
Are they allowed to lock the rooms and take the keys outside to the yard?
Are they allowed to take chumash out to the yard to read Shnai Mikra Vecha Targum on the hammock?
Are the children playing ball outside complying with halacha?
Can they take hot water from a different family's bungalow?
This story is one that can easily happen to any one of us, and these kinds of questions can come up any Shabbos. To answer these questions, we need to study Hilchos Eruvin, which is divided into 4 categories. The Rishuyos of Shabbos, the Halachos of Mechitzas, Eruvei Chatzeres, and Eruvei Tchumim. Let's try to understand how the 4 categories of Hilchos Eruvin help us understand the halacha. Let's begin with category 1, the Rishuyos of Shabbos. In Hilchos Shabbos, there are 4 types of Rishuyos: Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabim, Karmelis, and a Makom Ptor. The first Rishus is a Rishus HaYachid. A Rishus HaYachid is not necessarily a privately owned property. Rather, any place that is no smaller than 4 by 4 tvachim and is surrounded by some kind of barrier is considered Rishus HaYachid regarding Shabbos. Other types of Rishus HaYachid are, for example, a place that is 4 tvachim wide and is 10 tvachim taller than the Rishus HaRabim, such as a pole or a car, or a pit that is 10 tvachim deep and at least 4 by 4 tvachim wide. The pole, pit, or the car is considered Rishus HaYachid.
It's important to note that Rishus HaYachid extends all the way up to the sky, and not just right above the pole or within the pit's limits.
The second Rishus is a Rishus HaRabim. For example, city squares and streets, intercity roads. It's important to realize that not every road is considered a Rishus HaRabim. It is dependent on 4 conditions. 1, that the Rishus does not have a covering. For example, a tunnel running under a bridge is not considered a Rishus HaRabim. 2, the Rishus must be 16 amas wide. According to the Chazon Ish, that's close to 10 meters. According to Rav Chaim Noah, close to 8 meters. The third condition, there are opinions that hold that at least 600,000 people need to pass through that street.
Note, Rishus HaRabim extends up 10 tfachim from the ground. Above that is considered a makom p'tur.
The third Rishus is a Carmelis. Carmelis is a place that is not surrounded by 3 barriers of 10 tfachim, but is also not a public area like Rishus HaRabim, such as small streets, an ocean or a desert. Another example is a Rishus HaRabim that is covered, such as the tunnels we had mentioned. Another example is places within the Rishus HaRabim that are higher than 3 tfachim, but lower than 10 tfachim.
Carmelis is up to 10 tfachim from the ground. Above that is considered a makom p'tur.
The fourth Rishus is a makom p'tur. That's a place that doesn't fall into any of the 3 categories, such as a mound or a small hill or a pole that is at least 3 tfachim high, that are within the Rishus HaRabim and are less than 4 by 4 tfachim wide. They're not considered a Rishus HaYachid because they're lower than 10 tfachim. They're also not a Carmelis because they're not wider than 4 tfachim. Therefore, they're a makom p'tur. Additionally, any area in Rishus HaRabim or a Carmelis above 10 tfachim is also considered a makom p'tur.
Now, let's discuss the halachos of each Rishus. Midoraisa, one cannot transfer something from a Rishus HaYachid to a Rishus HaRabim or vice versa. Chachamim also prohibited taking something from a Rishus HaRabim or Rishus HaYachid or vice versa. One is allowed to transfer something from one Rishus HaYachid to another Rishus HaYachid, from one Rishus HaRabim to another Rishus HaRabim, from one Carmelis to another Carmelis. It's important to note, besides the Isser transfer something, it's also to move any object 4 amas within a Rishus HaRabim. When we said one can move something from one Rishus HaRabim to another Rishus HaRabim, still must be within 4 amas.
Now that we are familiar with the 4 types of Rishus and their halachas, we could understand that the house is Rishus HaYachid, and the street, which is not 16 amas wide, is a Carmelis.
Let's discuss the yard. Is it a Rishus HaYachid and one can carry inside it, or not?
In order to be able to carry items inside the yard must be surrounded by proper barriers.
What constitutes a proper barrier for the chutzner?
For that, we need to study the second part, Mechitzas Shabbos. It is the Mechitzas around the domain that create the Rishus HaYachid and allow carrying inside it. Midoraisa, any place that has 3 walled sides is considered a Rishus HaYachid. Midorabanan, the Chachamim obligated to fix a Mechitza on the 4th side as well. A Mechitza doesn't need to be an actual wall. There are other things that can be considered Mechitzas as well, such as Tziras HaPesach, and other types of Mechitzas, such as Pitikra, Godasig, and Godachis, in the opening of an entranceway, a lechi or a kaira, and in the entrance of a yard, a lechiyayim. In addition, it's important to know that there's a halacha of oimid meruba ala parotz. That is, when you define a domain, there is no need to wall in the entire side. It is enough to put a barrier on most of it, and it's considered as though it's fully enclosed on that side, as long as the remaining gap is not more than 10 amas wide.
It's very important to emphasize. There's another halacha in mechitzos, that if, within the enclosed area, there's an area that's not in use, and it's larger than a beit satayim. Chazal called this kind of area a karpaf, and one cannot carry there. Not only that, the entire enclosed area becomes prohibited. In order to resolve this, the area must be separately enclosed, separating it from the rest of the grounds.
Now that we've learned the types of mechitzas, let's check if the area is halachically enclosed and whether there are kapifas in it.
Wait, Yoni, will we be allowed to carry here in the yard on Shabbos? Is this gate considered Tzuras HaPesach? Hey, Velvel, what do you think? Is this considered Tzuras HaPesach? I'm asking regarding being able to carry here on Shabbos. Let's do something about it. And what about this side? But a Rav should always be consulted.
נו, מה הרב אומר? שזה פסול.
למה פסול?
כי זה צורס הפסח מן הצד.
אני נסגור את השער. פשוט נסגור את השער, נשאיר אותו סגור כל השבת.
אוקיי.
Once the proper halachic mechitzas are in place and there are no karpifas, the yard is considered a rishus hayachid and one can carry inside it. Now that we've seen that the yard is a rishus hayachid and it is permissible to carry in it, let's continue. Can an item be taken out from the bungalow to the yard?
Things be transferred from one bungalow to another?
What if there's a non-Jewish maintenance man who lives in the bungalow area?
For that, we need to study the third part, Eruvin Chatzeros. When a person has a private yard and he's the only one living there, he can take something out from his house to the yard and vice versa. When there are two residents in the yard, the homes are considered private domains, and the yard is a shared rishus. Chachamim did not want people to mistakenly think that just as they can take something from a private rishus yachid to a shared rishus yachid, they can also carry from a rishus yachid to a rishus harabim. So they prohibited carrying from a rishus yachid to any shared rishus, unless an eruv chatzeros is made.
What is an eruv chatzeros?
A piece of bread is collected from each household living in this yard, or one person is mizakeh everyone, and they are put into one of the homes. That signifies that all the people who own this yard made the one home in which the bread was placed as their residence for this Shabbos, and the other homes are secondary to this one.
תגיד, אתה גר פה? כן. אני רוצה לסגור את המקום לשבת.
אין בעיה.
קח 20 שקל.
למה 20 שקל? לא צריך 20 שקל. מספיק שווה פרוטה, אתה נותן לו, נגמר הסיפור. קח, בבקשה.
Another halacha of eruv chatzeros is that if one of the residents is a goy, or a Jew converted out of Judaism, they render the eruv chatzeros pasal, unless his part is leased from him.
This lease is helpful in the case of a guy, even if it's for less than a pruta. But in the case of a Yisrael mummer, it must be worth at least a pruta. This lease can also be arranged through his wife, or through the government, if they're entitled to force residents out of their homes.
To summarize, we learn that both bungalows are a private rishus hayachid, and the yard is a shared rishus belonging to both of them. And we know what to do in order to allow carrying from the yard to the bungalows.
בוא, בוא. טוב, עכשיו אפשר ברוך השם לעשות ערוב חציירויס. בוא נעשה ערוב חציירויס.
קראתי את זה.
ברוך אתה, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר גידשנו במצוותו וציוונו על מצוות עירוב.
אמן.
בעד אין עירוב ויהיה שור אלונו לאפוקה ולעולה מבייס לבייס ומחוצר לחוצר, מגג לגג, מבוטים לחוצר, מחוצר לבוטים, כל מה הייתי צריך לא נשתהם בכל שבוס וששונו וימים טובים, לנו לבני ישראל ולכל הדורים בועיר הזויס. תזכה את הפת הזאת עבור כל המשפחות שנמצאות פה במתחם בשבת, כדי שנוכל לטלטל בשבת. שכיח.
Shabbos afternoon, the Cohen family takes a stroll. Wait, is Yitzchak here?
Are they allowed to search even outside the Tchum? What is Tchum Shabbos? What is the halachic status for one who has left the Tchum?
For that, we need to learn the 4 components of the 4th part, Tchumen and Eruvin Tchumen. The first concept is Makom Shvisa. As Shabbos comes in, every person determines his Makom Shvisa, which is the place where he intends to spend Shabbos. A person's Makom Shvisa is in the 4 amas that he was in when Shabbos came in. And if he's in a place that is surrounded by walls, his Shvisa is in the entire enclosed area.
The second concept is 2,000 amma. From the point where a person's Makom Shvisa is on Shabbos, he may walk up to 2,000 amas in any direction, but not more. If he's spending Shabbos in the city, he may walk up to 2,000 amas outside the city in every direction. The third concept is Chutz Tchum. Someone who has left the Tchum, the allowed area, may not return to it, and he must remain within 4 amos of wherever he is now.
The 4th concept is Erev Tchumen. A person who is spending Shabbos on a settlement and wants to visit another settlement that is more than 2,000 amos away from where he is, can make an Erev Tchumen before Shabbos in that direction. Before Shabbos, he places food for 2 meals in a place that is within 2,000 amos in the direction of the settlement that he wants to visit. This is considered as though he has made his Makom Shvisa where the food is, allowing him to walk another 2,000 amma in that direction. It's important to note that since he has determined his Makom Shvisa not in the settlement he's in, but 2,000 amma away from it, he is no longer allowed to leave the farm, even 1 amma in the other direction.
But if the family did not do an Erev Tchumen before Shabbos, are they allowed to search for the child outside the Tchum?
It's forbidden to leave the Tchum. But in the case of Pikuach Nefesh, one may walk even more than 2,000 amas in order to search for the child.
Once the child was found, were the other family members allowed to head over to him?
No, they were not allowed to do that because they're leaving the Tchum for no valid reason.
The children are dehydrated and they need to go back.
If they did leave, they must stop and stay within their 4 amas until after Shabbos. We've seen that the mitzvah of Eruvin is quite applicable to our lives, both realistically and in understanding the halachas. Now's the time to achieve a solid understanding of these concepts, and may we be zeicha to the bracha of Kol HaMesangim Bo
Shabbos, Ami Sachei Yides V'Sor